Uncensored. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is my friend Mia Eden, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show once again.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
Now, for people who want to know what Uncensored is, Uncensored's my way to show people that even with a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy, reach my goals in life, at the same time turning myself into a perfect example for people out there deaf, blind, or in a wheelchair, that you should never label yourself, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something if you're very passionate about doing your goals. And you should never limit yourself. The whole point of life is doing what you love. Now, with that being said, it's a half-hour talk show, but you have as much time as you want. You can ask me anything you want, curse or whatever. It's uncensored. You know, a lot of people say uncensored, but they don't take the the extra mile saying uncensored, but, you know, still. So, starting off, what can you tell me about yourself?
Well, I live in Los Angeles, and I've lived here for almost 10 years now. I am originally from Lincoln, Nebraska, and went to college in New York, Hunter College. And I'm an actress out here. I also work in casting, and I paint, and I do a lot of things. I have other little side business ventures that I am with, and I, most importantly right now, I'm working for a nonprofit called True Connection. We work with kids in Compton. It's like a trauma-informed education system that we're trying to place into the schools down there, because children, trauma that we go through in our life, if we don't address it, affects us for our entire life. So it's just building skills to help them communicate how they feel and work through their feelings instead of repress them, or they come out in other ways like acting out and things like that.
Hey, well, I want you to be comfortable while doing this interview. I noticed the camera's shaking. You don't have to stand the whole time. You can just like.
No, I'm sitting, but unfortunately, I can't do this on my computer, so I'm holding it, and that might be why it's shaking.
You can't.
I feel like I'm not shaking, but.
You can always prop it up on something. Just reading your phone against like a book. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, let me see what I can do here.
I'm like sitting at my desk right now, but I have my phone leaning against my alarm clock. So, just an idea. Just trying to help.
Well, yeah. That's my fault.
I like your bandana, by the way.
Thanks. I love wearing bandanas. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. Good.
Sorry, I don't mind me. I didn't mean to stare. Okay, so like I said, if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. What about? I noticed that you said you are an actress. How did you get into acting?
Oh, that's a really fun story. I came out to California straight out of a marriage that was pretty tough, and my cousin lived in Redondo, and she offered to let me stay with her while I was figuring out what I was going to do. And I planned on finishing school and just getting a job. And literally the first day that I was in town with my cousin in Redondo, I got invited to a movie set. And so the guy was like, "Do you want to come check it out?" And I was like, "I would love to." So I followed him, and he's just like, "This is the biggest production, one of the biggest productions in LA going on right now." And he said, "It's The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler and Happy Madison team." And he introduced me to everybody, including the director, and I was like, "Hi, I need a job." I'm like bright-faced from Nebraska. I just know that I need a job. So I asked him for a job, and it was literally right across the street from my cousin. So for like a month, I just walked back and forth, and I was not acting. I was just doing background, but it introduced me to the world, and I was really excited and impressed at how many people it took to make one film, and everybody loved their job for the most part, and it was just really inspiring. So that's how I got into the industry, and then I quickly was like, how can what's my skill and what's my talent for this world? And at the time, I came up with makeup, because I was a makeup artist for my whole life. I sold Mary Kay, and so I quickly started just freelancing. Looking back, I don't know how I made that happen, but that's what I did. And then while I was doing makeup, I became intrigued with acting, and I decided to take some classes, and I auditioned for a couple theatrical projects and was on stage. And being on stage is what made me fall in love. The first show that I did, my cousin came to watch, and I just had an out-of-body experience almost, where I was watching myself on stage and just expressing, and it was a beautiful thing, and I just kind of said to myself, this is it. This is what I want to do. So that's the shortest possible version of how I got into acting.
Well, like I said, you have as much time as you want if you want to tell us the long story, if you like then.
Well, I mean, I think that covers the main part of it, and every single day, even now, as I evolve and I'm sitting in class, I still am in class. I'm always working on my craft, and I'm also working in any project that comes up, and I audition all the time commercially. But I have grown so much as a human being. So there is an actress that I follow, and she's also a teacher, and she always says, as actors, we're professional human beings. And I love that, because that is so much the truth. Basically, while I'm working on my craft, I'm working on myself as a human, and understanding my own nature, understanding other people's humanity. So I just love it.
Well, if you're open for different ideas, once I get established and I get some money on the side, I would like to hire you to do a couple voiceovers if you're interested.
Sure, I'd love that.
Okay, so we'll talk to you more about that off the air, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, the other question is, when you were in high school, were you on the track team? Did you do any sports? Were you athletic?
I was a huge basketball freak. I started playing basketball at age 8, and I was extremely athletic. I also did hurdles. I had a huge car accident my junior year, the beginning of my junior year, and I was already having problems with my legs because I was running hurdles and getting stress fractures and shin splints all the time. So then when I got in the car accident and I broke my ankle, I had a lot of trouble getting back into the swing of my athletic life. So the last year and a half of school was tough, because I was a huge basketball freak, and when I couldn't do that, I spent a lot more time socializing. I was much more, I became a partier. So yeah, but my whole life I was super athletic.
Do you miss it?
What's that?
Do you miss it?
Oh, yes. I was heartbroken. It was a really hard time in my life. Even my mom remembers me being heartbroken. It was like, I haven't had a lot of heartbreaks from men, but basketball was a heartbreak for me. Losing it in my life was. I wanted to be in the WNBA. It was, so, yeah. But obviously, looking back, there was things that I wanted more. Because if I really would have wanted it, I could have rehabilitated myself. Of course, as a teenager, that's kind of why I am doing what I'm doing with the kids in True Connection, because trauma really affects us, and I think I didn't have the tools to heal from what had happened. Because it was, when I got into that car accident, it was a huge shift in my life. I also had to have emergency surgery on my face, because I was in the back seat, and I'm lucky I'm alive. I didn't have a seatbelt on, and I was in the middle, so I flew to the ceiling, and I hit my knees on my mouth, and busted my face. And but the really odd thing is that day that happened, I had just flown back from a vacation, and that night I had a nightmare, and I woke up crying, and I kept telling my mom something terrible is going to happen, and she said it was just a dream, and I said, no, I know something terrible is going to happen. And I cried all the way home, and my mom was just like, what is going on with you? But when we landed, my dad's crops, when we got home, he found out that all of his crops had burned down to the ground. My boyfriend, who was my first love of my life, broke up with me, and I got into that car accident all on the same day. So it was, I knew that it was going to be a hard time. But then,
I'm sorry, he sounds like a dick.
It was just, that was what was up for me in my path. That was what I needed to go through.
Yeah, it's because, I want to say, it's funny that you mentioned car accident, because while you were talking, I was just having mental flashbacks. I was in a car accident 2003 when I was in my freshman year. Well, actually, I was in 2 car accidents. So was 2 stories about it, if you're interested about hearing it.
Yeah.
The first car accident we had was about, I think, 89 or 90. Yeah, my grandparents were telling my dad, oh, come down to Queens. It's fine. It's nothing. It's sunny here. It's beautiful here. Oh, because we're 2 hours away, or an hour and a half from the city. And, well, here it's crowdy, and it's okay. And we were set in the forecast. It may snow. That's okay. We can wait before it snows. So going down was fine. On the way back, we got into a snowstorm. There were some black ice. We didn't know there was black ice. And the only thing I remember from it was the car spinning around 8 times. And it landed up on the, those things filled with water. I think banisters. It landed up on that. And my oldest brother had to jump the fence, go over to a family who lived right there, because we didn't have a cell phone, and asked if we can use their telephone. And I remember, I was stupid at the time. I think I was like 5. And it's like, Grandma and Grandpa look different. Those are not your grandparents, but they're old. They look like my grandparents. They're not your damn grandparents. So that was my moment. But that was my first incident. My second one was, let's see, what was it? Sad part is I remember it like it was yesterday. Day before, we were in Kmart, and me and my mom were there every single day when we came back from school. And she spent hours there with me, going up and down the aisles. And didn't matter if I was 6 or I was 15, in high school, we still went there because I grew up there. And so one day, on a Thursday, and actually Wednesday, I apologize. Wednesday, it was like, oh, let's come back next day. Let's come back tomorrow. Okay, I have to return something anyway. Thursday, I woke up. I overslept for the school. And I was like, fuck it. It's the school. It's one day. And I went to the west. Something told me, I didn't feel right. I was kind of anxious. Maybe I should check the website. That's for the hell of it. Because I wanted to look at the, I wanted to look for the number. So maybe I can take a cab or something. And I noticed on the website it was flashing. School's closed. And I was like, oh, that's convenient. I guess I didn't miss school. School's closed. And I went back to sleep. After I told my mom, first she was upset, oh, I can't believe you overslept. Then I told her school was closed. Okay, no big deal. And I tried going back to sleep, and I was having this horrible freaking feeling. I don't know, like this tension. And I went back to the room and says, let's not do anything today. Let's stay in the house and go to Kmart tomorrow. I said, okay. Later on, she said, no, you were nagging me all day yesterday and about going out. And my brother said, you're the idiots making Mom go out in a snowstorm. So whatever happens, it's got to be on you. So I went with my mom. We had little problems getting out of the driveway, but we got out. We went to the stop sign. Car went forward, and it sounded like a car farted. So I started to laugh, and it's like, oh, well, normal people think that's a sign of, get your ass out of the car. But we didn't listen. We went down the hill. It was fine. We made a turn. First 2 minutes was fine. Next thing you know, I just blacked out. I saw everything in front of me just goes, like how we're looking at each other right now. Just everything around me just slowly fade into black. I got hit in the face with an airbag, so my glasses was like this. I went to adjust my glasses, and at the same time I felt heavy, like I couldn't really move my arms because we're flipping through the air at that point. So the car landed in the middle of the road. My glasses went flying. I opened the door. It opened and it closed. And I opened it again, and it almost landed on my face. And I just remembered taking off the seatbelt, and I just dropped to the other side of the car. This guy who lived across the street jumped on the car, grabbed me by my neck, and pulled me out. And asked me, are you okay? Do you know what happened? It's like, hey, your guess is as good as mine. How did we get over here? So, since then, I've been like cell-shocked. Every time it snows, that's it. I'm not leaving the house. I don't care if I work, don't work, doctor's appointments. If there's snow on the ground or ice, I ain't leaving the house. And spend 10, let's see, would have been 10 years, but it's 11 years, and I still haven't gotten over that. Occasionally I get over the urge, I said to my dad, he buys Jeeps, 4-wheel drive. It's like, oh, you feel fine, you're in a steel cage. That's, said, if you're driving, we're taking your car in a steel cage, we can go anywhere you want. My sister has a normal car, it's not 4-wheel drive, it's like one of those standard ones. Ain't leaving the house.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't mean to bitch to you, and I apologize, but that's one of the things in the back of my mind I still never gotten over.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. There's things that really it's very hard to let go of some things. And some things, like, they just come up when you experience something like it. Like, I went to South Dakota with True Connection. We went to go paint teepees with the kids. And we were driving, and we thank God we didn't kill a deer, but we hit a deer. And I went into shell shock instantly. And things like that just bring it all up again anytime, and I've been in a car accident since that major one, and it does the same thing. Your body remembers it. It lives. It's an emotional. It's an energy that stays in your system. But there actually are things that you can do to release it, and I'm learning those tools, because there are tools to release it so that your body doesn't remember it, or I should say, bring it back up. It doesn't paralyze you.
That's true, but it also is a learning experience.
What's that?
It's also a learning experience in some way.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, so moving on to our happier subject. What can you tell me about your college years? Were you a study nerd, party animal?
I was a party animal. I mean, I've always been a big reader, and so, you know, I still did my schoolwork, but I would say that, you know, young girl from Nebraska in Manhattan, New York City, I was so much more about experiences than anything. So I went to school, read, and then I partied. And, you know, I still have a lot of that in me. I still work hard and play hard. But I do less partying, a lot less partying than I used to.
All right. Well, obviously you don't drink and drive, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah, no drinking and driving.
The question I was going to bring up was, we talked about this last year, but most people don't remember the interview. When I said, did he do anything athletic, and you brought up a funny point, you referred to yourself as I forget what it was, but it was really cute. He's a human monkey.
Uh-huh.
So, for people who don't know what I mean by that, so like, were you into that whole human pyramid stuff, or you never got the chance?
Oh, no, I never did that. Oh, that's right. We talked about me being a human monkey. It's because I just like to... I have never done a human pyramid. Well, I shouldn't say never, because I have. I was in gymnastics as well. And so we used to, like, set out mattresses on our street in my neighborhood, and we would do flips and all kinds of stuff. So I guess I have, but I haven't done a pyramid as a human, or as an adult. So, yeah. But when I said I was a human monkey, it's just because I have so much energy. I'm super curious. It's like, you know, I just like to get into things.
All right, well, I didn't mean to bring it up. I guess you were thinking I would forget about that, but...
Oh, no. I'm glad you didn't forget about that.
All right, the other question is, and like I said, if you have any subjects you'd like to ask me, you're more than welcome to. I don't want people to think it's one-sided.
Okay.
You know, like... yeah, I'm sorry.
If something comes up, I'll ask you.
All right. You know, when I started my talk show a year ago, and I still kick myself over this, I should have been doing it like this, you know. Right now, like, it's building the trust, you know, friendship, trust building between you and me, and that's good. And I get to that at another point. But I should have been doing this like a year ago, because a year ago I was doing just audio. Don't ask me why, I just did it. I did normal phone conversations. You know, I had the speaker, I had my camera right here, I don't know if you see it, but I had it recording the sound, and I did 71 interviews. People from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, Spider-Man, and I was asked, what is your audience? I don't know what my audience is. I have one, great, if not, whatever. And because of that, I couldn't get any sponsors. And people are saying, and this is another thing pisses me off, people said you should have sponsors, and why aren't you as big or bigger than as you think you are? You have a great format, you have a great thing you're doing, why aren't you, taking it seriously? And I asked people I interviewed the first time, and you're one of them, would you mind redoing the interview with me in a new format? And you guys said yes, and I just want to say thank you. And there's other people who basically came out afterwards and said, oh, we only did the interview with you because it was a one-time thing, or we felt sorry for you, or no, we're not really a video person, but come back to us once you have your TV show. But no, we don't feel like doing another interview for you, it's a one-time thing. Or those same people would say, hey buddy, I give you a break the first time. Now if you want us on camera, you have to give us like $200. So,
well, I think that you can still use the the audio ones, and you should, especially for the interviews that went really well, and then go after new people. And I think people like to listen to things just as much as they like. I mean, granted, we live in a very visual world now. People like to see things, but I do a lot of listening to things still. So maybe mix it up, little video and then audio, and but that is how it goes. People get busy, and yeah.
Well, I bet you anything, and this is a true fact, because you're a gorgeous young woman, I bet you your video, it's got to get over 100 hits. And the reason I say that, it's because I think it was episode 46 that I did an interview with this cute Asian girl. And I didn't think of it at the time, but I noticed day by day her numbers were going up. I try and snap my fingers. Her numbers were repeatedly going up. It's like, am I missing something? Okay, let's try an experiment. Here's a picture of my other friend. His name is Rod. He's a guy in his 50s. He's a dude. Nope. No, 10 people. Okay, about 10 people. Okay, now here's my friend. And here's you. Cute girl. Dude, cute girl. I bet you anything you're gonna get more hits.
Well, that's the power of the ladies. That's just what that just is what it is. And thank goodness.
Now it's funny.
I do not mind at all.
Well, I like your opinion on this. My brother yesterday said I was a sexist. I don't know why he said it, but for the record, for just throwing it out there, I love the women. I do. It's a compliment. I love women. If I didn't, I would be gay. But I'm not gay. And
well, I love women. So, now I'm starting to feel very impassioned to say that I believe that women should love women. Women are the bearers of life. They're the ones that have the babies. They're the ones that bring creation to life. I'm not saying, and I love men, so I certainly am not a man hater at all. I love men. I am on a mission to get women on women's side. We've been in society taught to be competitive with other women and to feel like we're in this race with each other, and it's just not true. And women are way more powerful as a group than as individuals. And I just feel like we have so much healing to do, honestly, as a society, men too. But women really deserve adoration and honor. And the thing is that in doing that, the women make sure that the men are taken care of as well, and honored and respected. So it's good you love women. Sorry, you just made me get on a rant. It's just,
no, it's fine.
It's just something I feel really strongly about. I think that we need to really work hard to empower women, which empowers everybody, I don't mean it like, let's make more money as women and let's go. I mean, sure, great, fine. But it's more about personal interactions and showering other women with gratitude and compliments. So I make sure that I compliment one woman a day outside of my friends. Like if a stranger, if I see a woman who I love her dress, it may just be her dress, but it's not her dress. Like, you look beautiful in that dress today. And it makes them smile. And there's something about, we do get compliments from men, and that's wonderful. But it is so powerful to get complimented from another woman. It really is.
Okay. So. Well, two things, if you don't mind. Well, I like how you're getting all fired up. And you can talk about this if you want. If you feel very passionate, go for it. You can talk about it all you want. But you brought up a good point. when you said you look at another woman, not in that way, by the way. I know there are a lot of sick people out there. Yeah, I have someone eavesdropping on my conversations. I'll tell you after. But, when you say when you see another person like a friend, it's like, oh, I love your dress. It's great to give that person a compliment. But if I saw you on the street and it's like, hey, you really look good in that dress, more or less that person will say, or my friend will say, wow, he's really a horn dog, or he's really this, or he's really that. Now, how do you separate from what you're saying, you're giving a compliment, and it was, you look good, but like, for an example, you look good, by the way. I'm giving you a compliment. It doesn't mean I'm hitting on you, but how do you say, okay, this is a compliment, and okay, now, how is he still giving me a compliment without coming off like an asshole?
Well, I can't speak for everybody's intentions. Everybody knows their own intentions. So, if a guy has an intent, if he's giving a compliment with the intention of getting something back, then, in that nature, in that sexual nature, if that's why you're giving a compliment, well then, you can make your own judgment as to what that means. But if you're genuinely, and it's okay to be attracted to the opposite sex and give a compliment, and it's still not perverted, it's just stating a fact. Hey, you're beautiful. And yes, we are attracted to beautiful things. It's just the way it is. And honestly, me as a woman, I'm the one who has the power to give you anything. So if you give me a compliment, I take it with graciousness, and I really appreciate it. And I say thank you. And maybe I'll find a compliment to give back to you. But I don't feel any, there is always a way, Some people make rude comments and vulgar comments. That's different. But if someone compliments you, I never take it as, oh, he's perverted, He's a man, first of all. He's human. And thank you. Thank you for telling me I'm beautiful today. I'm going to take that. I'm going to receive that.
All right. Now, and I know, like, sometimes we're afraid to take compliments because we feel like we owe something back. Look, number one, if you're going to give a compliment and you expect something back, maybe you shouldn't give a compliment. But if you're just giving it to give and it's from your heart, then that's perfect. All right. Well, the next subject, you mentioned you feel strongly about this. I'm going to mention the subject to you. And this is our last subject for today, unless there's something else you want to talk about.
Yeah, because I have to head out soon.
All right. So see, how much time do you have left?
I have like 10 minutes.
Okay, so I promise I won't drag on. The next subject I was going to talk to you about, and if you looked at my Facebook, you would see it. I feel very strongly about animal rights. Animals have the same rights as people do. And I think people are like, oh, well, it's just an animal. Animals that don't have rights. There's a story of this woman who adopted this golden retriever. She had it for 7 years. And the part that pisses me off is the fact this woman had allergies. Okay, that doesn't piss me off. You have allergies, okay. In fact, that pisses me off is you knew you had allergies. You took this puppy, you raised him or her, you gave it a good home, and then one day you just decide, I don't want it anymore. And you just give it away. And that shit just it pisses me off. So how can you do that to a number of women being? So she gave the animal away? Yeah. To a good home? No, that's only, think it was like Maine Society. I didn't think it's no kill or something. She just gave it away. Just because she couldn't deal with it anymore.
mixed feelings about that. I wish she would have found a good home, you know. Instead of giving the animal to the humane society. But I feel the same way about this with humans. If you, for some reason, can't take care of or love or care for this person, animal, as you should, for whatever reasons, then you should free them to give them the option or ability to find that person that can give that love and nurturing. That's my opinion. But I get what you're saying. It is, I love animals, love them, but I can't have any animals because I can't give the proper care. I'm always out. I would be a terrible mother, terrible doggy kitty mother, and so I can't do it. And I wish I could. So you're right. People need to think about this. Can I take on the responsibility of having an animal? And if I can't, then you shouldn't. And we should care because they are just they're spirits just like we are, and they're important. I don't know, but you know, for that woman, in a way, I mean, I wouldn't want someone who's miserable to be taking care of an animal and sort of resenting this animal. It's the same with people. You don't want to be in a relationship that's not, it is creating resentment or anything like that.
Yeah, I understand it. I know it's a touchy subject, and I didn't mean to get you upset or anything.
But I'm glad you love animals. Oh no, I'm just passionate. I just get like that.
All right, well, wrapping up the talk show, do you have any funny stories you would like to share?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I can tell you something. I can tell you a funny story. So, I usually have to try something at least once. And I went to this party, and there was a chandelier in the living room, and it was created to swing from. So it was like made safely so you could swing from it. And I, of course, did it. And I gave the show, and, you know, I was really good at it. But then later in the night, after a couple drinks, I decided to do the same thing. And this time it didn't go so well. So as I'm, like, flipping, I landed flat on my back. Like, anyways, the lesson there was I should have taken my first, you know, when I did a good job the first time, that was enough.
It's really funny.
So that's my funny story.
Hey, so
Human monkey. We'll go all the way to the beginning. As I said, I'm a human monkey.
That is cute, by the way. I don't know how you came up with that.
Well, thanks, Keith. I wish your show well.